Today, we will discuss the three basic types of terminations that are used on tubing for fluid transfer systems. There are a couple of other types that are occasionally used, and I will touch briefly on them, but in this video they are not relevant. The terminations, or connectable ends, are called a flare. This is the term that encompasses the shaping of the end of the tubing for the sealing purposes. The three major types of tubing flares in automotive applications are as follows. First is a single flare, which is basically a cone that spreads the end of the tubing in order to fit over a cone-shaped protrusion in the fitting that the line is attached to. As you can see from the shape of the flare itself and the fitting surface, they are designed to allow a sealing surface based on the mating of the angles. Then the pressure of the flare nut or flare fitting forces the faces together, creating the seal. The single flare is used in building construction for water systems, gas piping, and heating oil. The single flare in automotive applications is good for low pressure only, such as in fuel systems, transmission cooling systems, and oil cooling systems. Second is the double or inverted type of flare. This is a continuation of the single flare but uses a double thick mating surface by forcing the single flare back in upon itself. This creates a very high pressure capable mating surface. As you can see from the cutaway, there are two layers of metal within the sealing surface of this flare. This is achieved by first forcing the metal in rather than out, as in a single flare. After the metal is forced in towards the center of the tube, then the flare is achieved by collapsing the edges over themselves. This makes the double thick sealing surface. Double or inverted flares have been the standard for braking systems within the U.S. for many years and continue to be the OEM style for domestic vehicle manufacturers. High pressure capability, easily formed by readily available inexpensive hand tools, and a solid sealing surface make the inverted flare almost bulletproof. Third is the ISO, or better known as the bubble type flare. This type of flare is almost exclusively used as a sealing flare for brake system feed lines on European vehicles. As you can see from the photo, the bubble flare has a much different shape than either of the other two types of flares that we've discussed. The bubble flare has a crush zone designed into it in order to make a permanent solid seal with the connection point. This crush zone makes the bubble flared tube basically not reusable. Once the end has been crushed into the sealing surface, it loses its reliability for resealing. You cannot use bubble flare fittings with either of the other two types of flares without using an adapter that will seal to both mating surfaces. As I mentioned, we would talk about a couple of the other types of tubing terminations. The other types of flares or tubing terminations includes 37-degree flares for use with AN-type aluminum fittings. These types of fittings were developed for the Army and Navy during World War II, hence the AN designation. The fittings are very expensive and require special tools to use. There is also the rolled bead, which is used heavily in fuel injection systems and some transmission cooler line connections. This requires a special type of connector that uses either a plastic clip or retractable jaws to engage the rolled bead into the fitting. The female fitting has an O-ring placed inside to seal on the smooth surface of the tubing. These other types of fittings are used in special applications and not normally found in most standard automotive situations.